Hi everyone. Start with the acknowledgement. The Council acknowledges the Waterfront traditional owners of this land and I pay my respects to all elders, past and present, to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Greater Geelong community today. And the virtual meeting statement. Committee members are advised that this virtual meeting is being recorded and will be published on the Council's website. If any committee member loses connectivity, we might have right now, with this meeting, they will be marked as absent for the time they are away. If a quorum cannot be maintained during the meeting due to members losing connectivity, we will adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes to re-establish a quorum. If a quorum cannot be achieved, this meeting will be abandoned and postponed until next Tuesday, 24th November at 7:30 a.m. Voting will be by a show of hands. Also, to speak to an item, please raise your hand. We ask you to keep your mic muted when you are not speaking to limit any background noise. And as per the requirement of COVID-19 Omnibus Bill 2020, Part 12, Clause 394, can I please have a show of hands from anyone that you can both see and hear, myself and the other committee members? That's everybody?
Okay.
I confirm that we have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
And do we have any apologies to note this morning?
We have Amber and Narelle, as well as no council representative.
No worries. And any declarations of conflicts of interest in relation to today's agenda? Hi, Greg. Greg, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Good morning, Greg.
Hi.
You can see and hear us all okay?
Hello, yep. Sorry,
Okay,
I had
terrific.
a few technical problems.
Great, thank you. Good to go.
No worries, thank you. Greg, I'll just get you to mute that again, please. Thank you. Can I please have a mover and seconder to confirm the meetings of the Central Geelong Marketing Committee, which was held on the 15th of November 2020. Got Stephanie Davis and Bernie. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. No public questions were received for this meeting? No interlopers? No? Cool. Cool. Reports and finance summary for September and October, please.
So you will see in the meeting pack that the October report's there, which covers us right up to the end of October. We are underspent, so where we would normally have spent more with our programs, it's just simply a direct correlation to the fact that we're not able to deliver the same amount of activities that we have previously, and that we're, our spending will increase now that we've had Sidewalk sales. We've got the spend and win that's on at the moment, and we're moving into Christmas. So you'll see that spending start to increase over coming months. But things like networking events, a lot of the sort of the day-to-day stuff that we used to do, we just have not been able to do. So we will see, I think once we get all of the Christmas expenditure in there, and then at the December meeting as a committee, we'll have a look at where we're sitting and maybe reallocate or reassess some of the projects for the remaining 6 months of the special rate. And that's it.
Thank you. An evaluation from the Spring 2020 Kids Fund Program.
Okay, let me just have a look at my, just before that, we've got the pecuniary interest information. So just with the Local Government Act, there's been some new requirements of the Local Government Act 2020 and regulations that came into effect on the 24th of October, which impact delegated committees and their committee members. So it's in relation to the personal interest return. So committee members regularly receive information from council or forms from council that need to be filled out and returned. The implications of the changes for delegated committee members is that there's a new requirement to complete a personal interest return, which is just a different name for what they previously needed to do, but it's slightly more onerous than the previous ones. At the moment, They're saying that delegated committee members will need to complete and lodge an initial form by the 23rd of November, but at this stage there is not an online form available. There will be a paper copy that will be distributed out to all committee members soon. So if you look out for that, and I'll also make sure that I'm sending email reminders out to committee members to make sure they're following that requirement.
Sorry, Jodie, I think we received that in an email the other day.
Oh, good. Okay,
yeah,
terrific.
So digital copy.
Great.
Nice to see it's digital.
Excellent. They just didn't send that to me, so that's great. You've all got it.
We've got another person.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Virginia Lee Laurie. Sorry I couldn't get into the meeting. Forgive me for being late. I'm just acting in Mark Gallen's capacity while he's on leave as manager Central Geelong. And my normal gig is coordinator of the Central Geelong revitalisation. Thanks. Sorry, Jodie.
All right. Thanks, Virg.
Welcome. Thank you. No worries. Sorry, Jodie. Okay, back to the evaluation for the Spring 2020 Kids Fund Program.
Okay, so the 2020 evaluation was in everyone's meeting packs. I'll just go through some of the highlights and then what the recommendation is. But just to give you an idea, the program ran for the 2 weeks. You will see from the statistics that we've put in there that the numbers are, of course, lower than expected, higher than winter, but definitely less than what we would expect normally. The return on investment is still high, so we know that the people that we're getting in, they're still spending, and we still offered a really robust program that adhered to all the requirements for small groups and was able to actually generate numbers into particular businesses. It really did feature a mix of online and downloadable activities, and we'd made a decision 2 weeks prior to the program being released that the program would be fully online, because at that stage there was no indication that that we were expecting changes. All of a sudden, about I think 5 days before the program release or the start of the school holidays, the restrictions changed, so we were able to accommodate small groups. So credit to Belinda, who was able to reinstate a couple of the planned activities. So we had the treasure hunt and also an online scavenger hunt. One of them went better than the others, and definitely the response to the treasure hunt, which was where small family groups were able to go to a number of businesses to find a clue and then grab a treat. Businesses were overwhelmed with the response, really overwhelmed on the first day, and then it really kept people coming through. And initially, some of the businesses thought there were lots of people coming in, but they weren't necessarily spending, and then they started to spend, and so that was great benefit to them. So really, total economic output for REM-Plan was $513,000, and it's really about half or less than half of what we would normally expect to get. But the return on investment was $38.76 for every dollar that we spent. 23% of the people who responded to our survey chose to participate online only, and of those people, 88% indicated that they didn't attend activities due to COVID. So that gives you an idea of the kind of impact that it's having on people's willingness to come in. And we think as cases lower, as we keep this, hopefully if we keep this streak going, people confidence to return back to the city will increase. Definitely that was less than winter. So in winter, 39% chose to participate in online only. So we're seeing some changes there. Of those that attended, 94% came in specifically for activity, with 87% going on to spend. So we know that it's having an impact there. It was split through dining, shopping, visiting professional services and entertainment. Clearly there was not as much to do, the other things. So, we couldn't go to the cinema. It was really, what we're finding is people are shopping and then they're leaving. They're not wandering around so much. And we do give a breakdown throughout that of where people are from. So 85% were from City of Greater Geelong, 8% from the G21, 2% from outside the G21 region, and 5% didn't say. So we're hoping they weren't from Melbourne. So total participants 4,318, which is still, you know, a good number, and was really fourfold of what we received in winter. We got good response from the businesses. Definitely the ones that were participating appreciated the support, and participants were really appreciative of the fact that we were able to run things. And as a small team, we're really proud that we were still able to get something out there that met the requirements and was able to bring benefit back to businesses. People still felt that they were that it was really important. So 98% of participants felt safe and welcome when they were in, which is a great statistic, and 93% said that they felt proud of Central Geelong when they were participating. So all good. I won't labour it too much. We were slightly over budget. We were able to put some more money into, we had available funds, so we were able to put some more money into the treat hunt. So where businesses exhausted their first allocation of treats to give out, we just said, just keep giving them out while the businesses are coming in. So we'll just keep reimbursing you for the cost price as they come in. So a couple of things that affected it, not only COVID, but we were also in councillor caretaker mode as well. So because we're part of council, there's some considerable requirements from getting every message signed off at a CEO level. So it meant that we weren't quite as nimble as we would normally be to opportunities. We had to get, you know, media releases signed, and there was a requirement to, you know, there was a time lag on those. The treasure hunt small group activities are really popular, and I think it's a way of engaging people and moving them through the city in a safe way. So we're looking at redoing similar programs for Christmas, and we will continue this kind of mix for upcoming school holidays. We only have funding until June of next year, so we should have the March school holidays that will come into this. Our January summer program is online only. Excuse me. So we may decide to change that up a little bit, but we do know that generally in the summer people will come in for specific activities. We gather all of the activities from all of the stakeholder groups, and in the past when Central Geelong Marketing, sorry, someone's just arrived. When someone, so I've completely lost my train of thought because the dog has started barking. I don't even know where I was going with that. Sorry. I'll get to the end of the message. We'll deliver the program with online, with the summer program. We know that when we deliver things and then it's a sunny day, we lose everyone from our activities. So it's not always been the best use of the committee's funds. However, we understand that this might be different this year. So we'll have a look at that as we move into the after the Christmas program. Sorry, and that's my recommendation is the committee notes, the Spring 2020 Kids Fund program and suggestions for improvements. And I'll pass it on to you guys to discuss.
Thanks, Jodie. I think that a 50% on last year is still fantastic given the climate. I think there's going to be a lot of behavioural change that we're going to have to navigate in the coming months and years, because we're just doing things differently now. I think that's a really good outcome. Well done.
I know from our perspective, our Rook, the retailer that participated, said it was fabulous, and it was so great to Belinda could get it going last minute, because they definitely benefit from a lot more traffic coming through. So yeah, that was their feedback.
Right. Any other feedback?
No other feedback? No worries. Can I please have a mover and seconder to note Spring 2020 Kids Fund program and recommendations as Jodie's presented? Heidi and Steph Reynolds. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. No worries. Now I've got a snapshot of the Central Geelong Shopping Festival and Sidewalk sales.
Okay, so I'm conscious that Nikki's here. She's had a few days off. I'm not going to tip her into it to do that explanation, but we've just done a small program snapshot. of the shopping festival and sidewalk sales, which ran for a week instead of the one sidewalk sales day on Melbourne Cup Day. So it went from the 2nd to the 8th. We had to reimagine this festival because we were not able to run an event that was going to attract large crowds at one time into the city centre. So you will have seen that all of the artwork was about extending the festival. The offers ran for the duration, and we had, again, small group activities that people could sign up for and follow. So there was a self-filled goodie bag, and there was also a Sweet Street, so people were able to self-guide on the Sweet Street tour. We set up a small information caravan in Little Melt Central, which looked really lovely, and people would come in and they'd grab their tickets at that central point and then they would move out. So we were able to manage the crowds and the people attending to make sure that they were adhering to all the social distancing requirements. We had a virtual shopping festival video series, so we had lots of video views of that, and there was always an offer at the back of that, and Nikki did a great job working with that supplier. We had a Choose Your Lucky envelope, so people were able to go into a ballot to then come in and pick an envelope up. So all of these were really about controlling the crowd numbers to try and make sure that we weren't overwhelmed or individual businesses weren't overwhelmed. We didn't undertake the pedestrian counting that we normally do on Sidewalk Sales Day. It simply wasn't practical for us to do that because the festival was going over a week. We were using the device counts to try and give us an indication of changes. The challenge at the moment for us is that there are no workers in the city. So we would often have a whole cohort of people that would attend the sidewalk sales who work in the city and were coming out, and we just didn't have those. We've got the number at this stage is about 15,920 who participated or engaged with one of our activities, including the virtual online shopping series. And it doesn't include people who came in as a result of our event, but who didn't then participate in one of the small group activities. So there'll still be a fair cohort that came in during the week because of the promotion and advertising, but didn't actually take one of the small group activities that we were doing. They may have just gone into the business who were offering a discount. We still had Renee Gehring as our Geelong Cats ambassador. Very difficult to do photo shoots and videos with masks. And the requirement that the city had put on us that anyone on camera needed to have masks. It was challenging, and it impacts the quality, even though we know on-air talent can actually take their masks off. We do get held to a higher standard than the general community, so the decision was made to ensure that we were following the rules to the nth degree and even above those rules, which is why those masks appeared. The website layout all changed this year just to try and make it a little more interactive. We sent a number of EDMs. There was a banner ad. Consolidated advertising still happened. We got some really great editorial from a number of publications, including some front pages with Forte and one of the Ballerine papers. And we've sent surveys out to business operators who are participating, as well as people who participated in the small group activities as well. So we hope to bring a full evaluation to you at the December meeting, but just wanted to give you an idea of the event, and again, some of the challenges that we experienced in delivering it, but still happy that we're able to continue to promote the event and the people that we brought in, still spending at Central Geelong businesses. We also launched Spend and Win at the same time, so had Spend and Win sort of ramping up through that duration, and that continues through to the end of November. If anyone's got any feedback, both Heidi and Felicity, we've asked for feedback from the centres for the week, and we'll use whatever information comes back to help give a good snapshot of that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still getting the data together for you, but just generally, I think a lot of people still didn't, they didn't understand that it had changed to a week versus the one day. I know Tuesday morning we had a bit of an issue with people queuing up in the centre, but we dispersed those people pretty quickly. But yeah, overall I think it was fairly successful, but yeah, just still getting all the feedback for you.
There was a bit of buzz around our office, for lack of a better word. So a couple of people had gone in with the lucky envelopes. So it's nice to hear people getting excited for the traditional sales. So yeah, well done, guys. No worries. We don't need a...
No, it's just an update.
No worries, thank you. A sponsorship request for the Waterfront Makers and Growers Market.
Okay, so Central Geelong Marketing has supported the Waterfront Makers and Growers Market for a number of years now, and the market itself was renamed when our Farmers Market stopped in Little Mallet Central, and we combined that with the Waterfront Makers and Growers Market, which had previously been called the Steam Packet Market and was more a craft market, to try and provide, one market on the waterfront. We know that it attracts really good crowds on a regular basis, and it has allowed us to continue to communicate with what was quite a large market database that we had existing from the farmers market, and also to continue to promote markets that happen. So Piccadilly, some of those other markets that pop up from time to time within Central Geelong. We as a committee already committed to supporting the Waterfront Makers and Growers Market right through to the end of June 2021. So we have already allocated within our existing budget and within our activities plan our commitment towards this market, but we do ask we ask them for an acquittal form, and we ask them to request the funding on an annual basis so that we can just review how it's going and put it back to the committee for discussion. They have been significantly impacted by COVID, as everything else has been, and the last two markets, they have actually flagged their intention to run the market both times, because markets have been able to run, and both times just prior they've cancelled the markets, and for a whole range of reasons, but clearly the COVID requirements is significant for them. They have indicated that they would be running a market in December, and their intention is to run the market right through from now on a monthly basis. Generally, they estimate between 4,500 and 7,000 people attending each market during the year. Whether the device counts probably show them less than that, but there is a significant increase on every single market day that we know that it brings people in, and that they then move on to do other things in Central Geelong, particularly around the restaurants and cafes down on the waterfront. The Christmas one's important because we know then if we can get them in at Christmas time, the chances are that they would move. Many of the people attending may go on to do other things in Central Geelong. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, other than saying that the committee had already indicated that they would be supporting this market. They've given the acquittal form in, which demonstrates that the market is attracting people, how they use the money. The request is $6,000 of financial support from the committee, and we bumped that up with about 10,000 of in-kind, which is our promotional, where we put them onto the signage boards that we have down on the waterfront. We also include them in the market EDM that I just mentioned, but also in general advertising and promotion, and it's of great assistance to them. So my recommendation is to support the market with $6,000 of financial support, $10,000 of in-kind support via promotion by CGM to extensive audiences, and include monthly emails to market database, inclusion in EDMs, listing on website, and listing of social media, etc. So over to you to discuss.
Thanks, Jodie. It's a really lovely market, so it's good. I think it's really good to support and get people moving around, and it's outside. I think we should be doing what we can to encourage COVID safe events. Anyone else?
Look, I agree. We've got I live in Kilgore Street, and the South Geelong Farmers Market's on all the time, and the amount of people, everyone's getting, you know, back outdoors. Local growers are all super happy. It's just a really nice vibe to see. So, yeah, I think fully support them.
No worries. Anybody else? On to our favourite topic, Christmas instant. That was.
Oh, we've got to move and second that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So sorry, we need someone to move and second.
Yep, and Stephanie. And all in favour? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now on to Christmas.
Couple of Christmas updates. So I've just put an overview into the meeting pack so that you can see the different things that we're doing. So the Christmas trail will go to print today and will be released today online. So that's had a number of iterations, and it's been out with partners, etc., to provide feedback. And we'll get that to print today, which will be great because then we can start to really promote. Our elves are all, we were able to actually keep our elves from last year, so who were still sitting on the system. So some of those casual staff that we have had that were stood down during the COVID period are re-engaged. They've been doing the spend and win, and then they will move into elfing from the 27th of November. So we'll still be handing out copies of the map. Lollies, we've got less lollies this year because we know that there won't be as many people around, but we will be distributing those, and all the COVID safe overlay of distribution of lollies, etc., has been completed, as it has for all of these activities. The 3D Christmas wall art, so new updates to the globe down on the waterfront. It's got a string of lights in it this year, and that string of lights is kind of moving right through all of our artwork this year, and it ties into an overarching the Night of Lights, which is a larger program that the city's running as well. The one on the Mirabel Street wall, so opposite the National Wool Museum, so that's a Westfield wall who they've given us permission to put one on. That one's called In the Tree, and it's a close-up where you're actually standing on baubles and you know, grabbing the string of lights and grabbing a candy cane. So that one's called In the Tree. And then you move up into Little Mallet Central, where we've been given permission from Market Square to use an external wall there, and that one's called Decorate the Tree, and that one has a Santa in it, and so you're actually helping decorate the tree. That tree itself is the tree that's the close-up, so they're all linked, and there's a mantle on the one in Little Mallet Central which has a snow globe on it, so there's a linkage of all three artworks there. So they will all start being installed this week. No installation yesterday due to great big vinyl stickers in that wind. So it will, they'll be installed, and we're promoting them from the 23rd of November. We have the vacant premise, which we're using at the moment for the spend and win. We'll have, that'll continue right up until the 30th of November, but this Friday, 2 window modules will be bumped in where they're animated Christmas modules, which will sit against the windows. We'll have sticker decals around those modules, and it will be a animated Christmas window. Certainly not exactly like a Maya window, but still will provide, they're lit at night as well, so providing a day and night activity for people to see. All of the augmented reality is ready to go. There'll be about 10 locations within Central Geelong with 4 different animations, and a number of those animations have been custom made for us. They are fantastic. As soon as I can send a marker, so a small version out to everyone, you can print that off and trigger it yourself, so you can have those small animated characters on your desktop as well. So you can, you know, on a piece of paper on a table, just so you're able to see what it looks like, but encouraging people to get out and do that in small groups. And we've also created a Christmas colouring with augmented reality, and that will be distributed at Santa stops with the Christmas elves. It'll be downloadable, and it's pretty amazing when you actually colour it. The augmented reality picks up the colouring that you've done. So if you're a bit of a crappy colourer, the little elf has only little parts of her dress covered, and the same. It's really, really cute. I'll send the email out to everybody with that in it, and I would encourage you to participate in it. Just really fun things that people can do at home, or they will receive those when they're participating in our activities. We've also had a custom face filter done, which is available on Instagram and Facebook, which puts the tree in the background. And our Santa stops, which is a replica of the treat hunts and treasure hunts that we've done throughout the last 2 school holiday programs, will commence from the 11th of December. So we'll select a number of businesses who will have Christmas themed items, and we'll encourage people in the last 2 weeks before Christmas to do that. Things like the morning tea with Santa can't go ahead this year, so that treat hunt is kind of like a bit of a nod to that, but a different kind of activity that allows people to come in and still get treats. And then the Santa letters actually won't start now until, and it's been updated on the Christmas map and our communications, until the 23rd of November, because the library and the carousel won't be open until the 23rd to have those letter boxes in there. But you know, robust Christmas program will still be promoted quite heavily, and we'll still have the elves out on the street. We won't do a drop to every business. At the moment, we're just getting staff to walk around with the pads of Spend and Win or the pads of the Christmas Trail to businesses that are open, because there are still a number of businesses that haven't reopened, and there's no point doing large mail outs to people that aren't there. We don't want to waste money or effort in that. So that's Christmas at this stage.
It's a very impressive pivot for Christmas. You guys done a fantastic job. Sounds very exciting. I'm excited to be able to do my own on and home.
Yeah, we actually didn't expect it to pick up. We just thought, you know, you'd do your colouring and then this beautiful animation would pick up, and then the fact it's picking up all the colours that you've put in is really lovely. It's a sweet one.
All for daycare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll send those out to all schools and kinders as well, so that they're engaged too. And that's it from Christmas.
Thanks. Any other questions? Heidi, when does Santa hit Maya? See if Santa's there yet now. Oh, Royal Westfield, isn't he?
I haven't gotten confirmation. I know he is coming into Maya at some point, but he has been out in our centre since last weekend.
And Felicity, is he?
Santa starts in our centre today. So, and I know some of the Santa staff are the same for Maya, and I feel like they're starting in the next 2 weeks, but I don't know the exact date either. But yes, very exciting.
No worries.
And can I just say, Rachel, there's a larger, broader Greater Geelong program this year. So people may have seen the tree has been lit. It just got turned on, I think it was Monday night of last week, just to avoid large crowds for a launch event, because there was a listing in 103,000 calendars throughout the municipality that there was a Christmas launch event last Friday night. So the tree was turned on prior to that with lots of messaging that there wasn't going to be a launch of it this year. But there's some larger programs. So there's the Greater Geelong Christmas Adventure, and there's also the Night of Lights, which are two sort of municipal-wide Christmas activities to encourage people to move throughout the municipality, but also to build sort of community spirit. So the Night of Lights is where at 9 o'clock on I think it's the Friday the 27th. I think it's the day that our elves start. At 9 o'clock, there will be a sort of a turning on of a number of things throughout the municipality, and the community will be encouraged to turn on their own Christmas lights that night. And the other part of it is the Christmas adventure, where there's activities in all of the wards throughout Greater Geelong, and there's a trail that people can follow if they choose to, or alternatively they can just do things that are closer to home. But our Christmas trail, the Central Geelong Christmas Trail, sits, really as one of those key activities as part of that greater adventure promotion. So it's sort of we're still in there, but definitely acknowledging from a council perspective that there are some people that will choose to do things closer to home this year, but trying to encourage local spending wherever possible.
Thanks, Jodie. That's fantastic. Okay, update for the Summer Kids Fun program.
Just with the summer program I mentioned before, we normally just consolidate all of the activities that other stakeholders are doing, and we put all the large events in there, like Cadell and all those things that may not necessarily be happening now. The opportunity exists, I guess, for us to do a similar activity like the treasure hunt that we've done of some kind. It is a little sort of labour intensive, but we have money that we haven't been able to spend on different activities. So what I'm suggesting, we tend to not promote that activity until the Christmas period's finished, so it's sort of from Boxing Day onwards. So what we might do is look to we'll come back to the committee in December with some ideas, and we might then, with that summer program, bring something in just for late January to encourage people into the city over that period. So I just wanted to give everyone the heads up that there might be a slight change to that summer program, and we'll discuss it at December. I might distribute some things via email in the meantime, but just once we've really seeing what it's looking like, what the group numbers will allow, and we'll go from there. But I'll bring that back to either the December or an email to committee members. And that's it.
Thank you. Executive Officer Month overview.
That's already in the meeting pack. We're still communicating a lot with businesses. Our training sessions, so there we had a getting retail fit for Christmas with Brian Walker, who's the retail doctor, who's fantastic. That was a really great webinar. We're making that available for all businesses, and we'll keep promoting that out, that link, so that they can see a recording of that. Digital, we are still promoting the at your service into the regions, and we can, as now that people can start to come back from the Wyndham area to Geelong, we'll pick that back up again. Our tenancy audit, what we're actually finding is that there are lots of movement of businesses on street. We're just getting every day new businesses are opening, which is interesting. Some are closing, some are opening, and there's just lots and lots of movement. We will be doing an audit in December. So we figure by December, businesses, hopefully most businesses will be open in some form, and we'll be able to get probably a greater sense of where things are sitting in the city. The other component of that is I'm overseeing a pulse check program for the city, which is going out and doing with Working for Victoria staff out to a number of different retail activities throughout the municipality as well, which with Working for Victoria funds, and that's a really interesting one to see what the impact of COVID is and what the business mix are in other activity centres. We've always been able to tell people in Central Geelong what that is, but not necessarily in some of the other centres throughout the municipality. So that's been an interesting one to be part of. The other is that you will have seen that there's significant interest in outdoor dining, and there's been support from state government for increased outdoor dining. So I'm sitting on some of the larger council groups in regards to that, and working with the team within Central Geelong about trying to facilitate increased options for businesses. There's been lots of applications that have come through. Some are more complicated than others, so it's that, you know, the idea is that the guidelines indicate try and use the footpath outside your own premise first, then maybe expand out into neighbouring outside neighbouring businesses on the footpath first, and then there may be a request for either use of public space or car parks after that. But there's a sort of a group that's working on that and trying to move those along as quickly as possible for businesses. With the proposed changes from the 23rd of November, where if you have the space to do it, you can have up to 200 people in an alfresco environment, we expect that the requests will increase at that particular point, and certainly the ask of public space. So I sit on that from a CGM perspective and from a place management perspective to try and balance the needs of the community and businesses as well in that. So it's a really interesting space to be in. Just to let you know, the workers database and the workers engagement program continues on. So we're still communicating with all those workers that are sitting in their home offices. So with the online ballots, and still really trying to keep them engaged with what's happening in Central Geelong and promoting some of our other events and activities. Probably the only other thing that we haven't talked about as a committee was that the Central Geelong Marketing team entered the Australian Events Awards for 2020, and that our 2019 Taste of Central Geelong program won the state award for that, which was really great. It wasn't this year's event, it was last year's event, won this year's award. So that was really nice recognition for the program. And I laughed because I think we're probably a shoo-in to go pretty well next year, because as far as I can see, we're about the only people that delivered anything this year. So we'll have another crack next year if we're still here. And that's it from me.
Well done. No worries. Are there any confidential items? No? On to general business. Just go around and based on my screen, Stephanie Davey.
Morning. I'm sort of business as usual at the moment. We've got no interest in heading back into the office until masks are gone. So we're certainly staying home, I would sort of assume, until the end of the year, give or take whatever and the man says on Sunday. The new rent relief regulations came out early September, but they're not dissimilar to what was originally brought into place in April, May at the beginning of COVID. I'm just sort of hoping all my tenants are okay, and, you know, office space is probably the only thing that we're sort of waiting to see how that unfolds in the next, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. It's going to be unusual.
Challenging.
And we have some large floor plates vacant at the moment in the old Bendigo Bank building. So it's a little, managing how best to position those to ensure we do get a tenant. But yeah, that's about it from me.
Thanks, Steph. Bernard?
Yeah, look, we're back, so happy to be back, working through the COVID safe requirements. Kicked off on Thursday. I think we can get 20 people in the cinema, so for about 11 days we'll be restricted to that, and then I think from Monday we can go to 100 people per cinema, or density ruling and all that sort of stuff based on what Dan's saying. So look, that's encouraging, gives us a chance to make some money. From a perspective, we've renegotiated the rent, our lease at current site for the next 10 years, so we're staying in the CBD, so pretty happy about that. And somewhere in the future there'll be a big announcement about a renovation on the cinema as well. So there's some significant money going in from the landlord and us to make it really attractive going forward. So that'll be a good thing. Content-wise, we've got a lot of pent-up stuff that goes from about March of this year onwards. So that's currently running. We're trying to get stuff out of the States for January, February. I think they're talking about February being the big period where everything's back online. It's after winter finishes in the States. So hopefully people are still alive and we can keep going forward from there with the United States and all the other stuff. So that's where we're at. Good to be back.
Well done.
Isn't that strange watching people that aren't dealing with the pandemic on TV and movies? Like, it always feels a bit like, what are you doing? Real way.
Yep.
Yeah. Steph Reynolds.
So today we've just gone out to national media with a call for 16,000 blood donors across Australia in the next 2 weeks. We've just seen a bit of a huge downturn in donors, and so we're just a bit wary that O positive and A positive with the low blood supply, we're running very short across the nation. So we'll have some local media here as well, so you may hear that through K-Rock or local newspapers. So just encourage, I guess, anybody around you or anyone that you work with, if they can, make an appointment, especially if they're OPOS or APOS, because that's around 70% of the population. So if they can, come in. We've got a few hundred appointments, particularly in Geelong, over the next few weeks as well. So that's my work cut out for me this week. And apart from that, it's pretty much, yeah, business as usual and planning ahead for Christmas.
Next step, Ben.
Morning, everyone. How are you? Yeah, we've still got heaps going on in terms of events such as masterclasses and networking events such as Cloud Connect and so on. But we're probably eagerly, like a lot of you, eagerly awaiting both Sunday night with Thunder Dan delivering some sort of message and then Tuesday with the state budget. So they're really important. We're really pushing for a Geelong response and a real focus on small businesses in that budget. So we'll see if they listen. I don't know if anyone attended our Geelong Business Excellence Awards, but as Jody said, we kind of felt we were the last stand in Victoria with that one. Everyone else sort of cancelled their awards and we pushed through, and by all reports it was a real success. We certainly operationally it was a success. There's a lot of moving pieces when you're connecting multiple Zooms and live streaming and pre-records and all that, as well as live. So we're really proud of that. And I think that's a real testament to the Geelong business community. And we're thankful to all our sponsors because we wouldn't have been able to do that without their full support. So I think that's a real win for Geelong. We're also evolving our mentoring program and really expanding that to help businesses shortly. It'll be a free service, one-on-one mentoring, 8 sessions for business owners. So keep an eye out for that. I think that'll be really important in helping us to rebuild throughout Geelong, as well as we're just currently employing for a wellbeing consultant as well to be part of the chamber staff for the next 6 months. We've got a little bit of funding and we've been chosen as one of 10 peak bodies in Victoria to roll out programs that assist people with their wellbeing and feed through to counselling. But I'm kind of designing it, or part of the design, and I want it to be really content driven. So, tips of the week and lots of opportunities for people to get involved and talk about how they're going. And I think that's really important because business owners have traditionally been hard to reach. They're a pretty resilient bunch and don't reach out so much. So we're hoping to open up that conversation. That's about it from me. Looking forward to the end of the year.
Excellent. That's fantastic that you'll be looking after the wellbeing. My husband's an accountant, so I hear a lot of the other side of those conversations. I think there's a really big need for it, especially in the 9 months of this. It's a very long slog. And
isn't it funny? I know a lot of accountants too, and they've all been quasi wellbeing consultants over this whole period, haven't they?
Yeah.
And, a big part of that wellbeing program will be financial counselling too, which is so important.
yeah, some difficult decisions being made. Lucy.
Yeah, so we have virtual info sessions again starting today for the next 3 days. It's actually been really well received. It might be something that we kind of continue in the future, which has been, you know, one positive. We're still up about 35% on applications this time last year. So again, we like to think it's our marketing, but who knows? It could be just everyone taking the opportunity to study now. This month also marks 100 years of international education at the Gordon, so we'll be having some sort of celebration for that. Unfortunately, can't do anything in person, so it'll be a lot more low-key than what we normally do. We've also started doing our development on the culinary school, so that's been a long time coming with the Victorian government, but it'll be really exciting because we're going to redevelop the whole Davidson cookery space. So that will be 2 brand new kitchens, a bakery, an on-site cafe. So it'll be a long process, but it's good to see that finally started. Just continue with future-proofing messaging, and we'll go out with change of preference for when VCE results do come out. That's not until the 30th of December, so it's very, very late in the piece and over Christmas time. So that's fun to work over that time, but that's okay. We're happy to be here and happy we're still going, so all good.
Thanks, Lucy. Patty?
Yeah, we're, you know, each day's quite different. We are still seeing weekends particularly strong, with more people feeling confident to come back into the city. Prepping at the moment for Westfield Week of Offers, which is our extension of Black Friday for next week. So we're getting a lot of interest there. I think that's really where retailers are wanting to play their kickoff to Christmas strategy. But yeah, just working through, keeping an eye out on our CBD workers returning to work. And we've just launched the Westfield Plus app as well for a more connected customer experience.
Thank you. Felicity?
Yeah, much the same as Heidi. Was going to say there's a definite increase of traffic into the city on the weekends. So we're just assuming that's workers who aren't normally in the CBD during the week getting out and about on the weekends. And yeah, we're just gearing up for Black Friday, making sure that we have all of the COVID safe plans in place, making sure retailers have their plans in place so that with the influx of the Christmas traffic that they're all prepared for that. And yeah, as I said earlier, Santa starts today, so it's all feeling very festive.
Thank you. Greg?
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, certainly things have turned around. People were travelling regionally last month here, but yeah, since Melbourne's opened up last couple of weeks, it's yeah, we've been just about full for the last week or so. So yeah, looking forward to a good Christmas.
Thank you. Does any of the team want to have a go, or I can have my turn? The GMHBA branches are back open, and our optical online booking is now available. So that's really great to help people get booking and get in. And I believe What's Our Head Office is on track, so it's exciting to see that going up. And I wonder if we'll be back before we're in it. So who knows? We'll wait and see, won't it? Yeah, and then I'm also on the Mini Life Advisory Committee. So just on touching on the points you guys made about online events, the International Women's Day event will kick off shortly, and that will be also an online event. So it'll be exciting to see how that goes, with the opportunity to have some in-person group viewings if it's appropriate, when it's appropriate. Virginia?
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Is this the general business section we're in currently?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so look, I really wanted to point out here and congratulate the committee for doing such an incredible job during a really, really difficult period. It's not just the difficulty of COVID that they've been dealing with. This team has been dealing with an uncertain future under a very, very big black cloud. And I think to deliver what they have done with tastes, the Spring Kids program, the shopping festival, they've done incredibly well to bring out and bring forward those events for the CBD that they have under two very, very big clouds. So Jodie, to your team, I really know it's been a struggle for you all. It's been a really difficult time, but well done and congratulations, and please keep supporting these guys. Because once they go on, that's it.
Well said.
Doesn't happen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Jodie, do you need a moment? You're on mute. Yep, you're okay.
Oh, thanks, Virg. Really kind. You got me. Thanks. We're good.
No, you guys really are doing a fantastic job. Well, if there's nothing else, we can close the meeting. I declare the meeting closed at 8:28. Thanks,
Well done.
everybody.